Well, this is legendary. An anti-Trump punk band, Dropkick Murphys, had a MAGA fan in the crowd. And the lead singer, Ken Casey, did a little bit of an interaction in front of the crowd with this fan of his that demonstrated a little bit of hypocrisy, sort of a funny point. And then I'll show you another moment flashing back to hear some of what Ken Casey has said very substantively about Donald Trump. But before playing the clip, here is some reporting about it. The lead singer of the Celtic punk band Dropkick Murphys challenged a man in a Make America Great Again shirt to whether it was made in the United States or not. Why it matters: President Donald Trump's America First platform is predicated on bringing jobs back to the U.S. and placing tariffs on companies who pay for cheaper labor overseas. But Trump's catchphrase is being printed on clothes made abroad. So let's take a look at this video, and then we have a lot to discuss. If you appreciate the show, as always, I want to remind you to click the subscribe button.
Where the f*** are all the other punk bands? The reason we speak out, we don't care if we lose fans, because when history's said and done, we want it known that Dropkick Murphys stood with the people, we stood with the workers. Okay? And it's all a f***ing scam, guys, okay? I want to propose, in the name of decency and fairness, sir, I'd like to propose a friendly wager. You can't lose this wager. Would you, in the name of dialogue and discourse, and I appreciate you being here, would you agree to a friendly wager? He says sure. That's a good sport. Well, first of all, do you support American workers? Of course you do. Of course you do. Okay. So, and do you support American businesses? Obviously. Okay. So, I don't know if you guys are aware, because we don't go around fucking bragging about it, but Dropkick Murphys always sells proudly made in America merchandise only. And here's the bet I'd like to make. If you lose the bet, we switch shirts, okay? If you win the bet, I give you $100 and the shirts, right? That's why I said you can't lose, right? All right, Matt, can we get a little drum roll, please? This is fucking high drama here. American made, sir, could you both turn backwards? Don't worry, no one's gonna. He just needs to check your tags on your shirt and your hat. Just need to see where they're made. No, the MAGA shirt, Let's see where that's made. Nicaragua. It's made in Nicaragua! So, no, he is a good sport. He's taking the shirt off. We're taking crime off the streets. God bless your fucking heart. That's a good sport. You get one proudly made in America Dropkick Murphy shirt.
Yeah, so I think why this is so important, or what the takeaway here is that Trump misunderstands the path towards supporting American businesses and American workers. And that includes him potentially sending us into a recession through his trade wars. But he says that's all okay because, again, through his misunderstanding, he's saying that it's supporting American businesses. And I've gone through before, we won't get really redundant and do it again here, but we've gone through how you would more thoughtfully approach economic policy in a way that supports American businesses, sometimes even in more mindful ways, leveraging tariffs, but just not in the aggressive, crazy, incoherent way that Trump has, and to the extent that he has. And so as he's saying that his reckless policy is justified because we really want to support American companies, we want everything to be made in America, he can't even do his part to not sell made in China or made in Nicaragua or made wherever merchandise, which is obviously hilarious hypocrisy. Also, Ken Casey had this point to make during a concert a couple years ago about the MAGA movement.
If you were part of a union or working class people who were allowed to build a better life in the middle class in America, you fucking listen to us. Because if you're out there buying those fucking hats that these swindlers are selling at that fucking fair, I'm sorry kids, I know there's kids here, then you're part of the problem, and I'll tell you why. Because you're being duped by the greatest swindler in the history of the world. You're being duped by a bunch of grifters and billionaires who don't give a shit about you or your family. They care about their fucking tax breaks and the money they can put in their pocket. If you consider yourself a patriot and you're spouting off that election denying shit, I will fight your ass outside if you want to. Wake the fuck up! We're working class people! These people are the fucking rich, the billionaires, and they don't give a shit! Thank you for listening.
So obviously pretty stark communication of that message, but the underlying substance is really important, which is that you have people who self-identify as patriots and as supporting the working class hero, but meanwhile, he's pushing through policies that hurt us, increase our costs, and take away our benefits while using the debt problem that's being exacerbated by his tax cut policy to justify further cutting benefits while further cutting taxes for the wealthiest among us. So it's the worst trade-off, indicative of the worst priorities you can imagine. And people support him thinking that he's fighting for their interests when he's obviously not. But the thing that he says his primary means of advocating for workers or pushing for their interests is this crazy trade war, and he just escalated it even more, posting, based on Ontario, Canada placing a 25% tariff on electricity coming into the United States, I have instructed my Secretary of Commerce to add an additional 25% tariff to 50% on all steel and aluminum coming into the United States from Canada, one of the highest tariffing nations anywhere in the world. And so whenever he implements trade policy that inevitably causes countries to respond, he then punishes them for responding, and it's a race to the bottom. And do you know who loses? We do. Now, Republican Senator John Kennedy went on CNN and admitted, yeah, the stock market is reacting so poorly because of Trump's tariff approach.
As well. Let's turn to the economy. Republican voters may start feeling a direct link from President Trump's economic policy, specifically the tariffs, to what we're seeing right now and what people are seeing with their 401ks. The stock market is plunging. Grocery prices remain high. There are fears of a recession, stoked at least in part by President Trump's refusal to rule out a recession. Where are you on this? Is your message still, this is early, trust the process? What do you think?
I don't see any indication of a recession. We created 151,000 jobs last month. The unemployment rate is steady. The yield curve is fine. Businesses are still showing profits. I think the reaction of the stock market was with respect to two things. Number one, the market has clearly been overvalued. The S&P was trading at about 21 times earnings. 10-year average is from 16 to 19. But I think the real reason that the market had such an ugly day, and it was ugly, was concern about President Trump's tariffs. And I'll be glad to talk about that, but I wouldn't trade the American economy for any other economy in the world right now. Not Germany, not France, certainly not China, not Canada, not the UK, not any other developed country. And I think
not South Africa, not Japan, not India, not Chile, not Norway, not Sweden, not the Dominican Republic, not Portugal, not Spain. I want to trade it. Thanks, John. Yes, we're the world's sole superpower. I obviously want our economy over other people's economy. But hey, also, maybe we don't make our economy worse than it was a few months ago. Because I agree, I want to trade our country for a different one. But I damn sure trade 3 months from now for 2 months ago. Whoa, get your head around that one. John. I love how he just started listing off countries. Good job, Bubby. Yes, you know the names of countries. Here is Biden back during the campaign while he was still president, warning Trump. He begged Trump. He tried to do Trump a solid about the impact of a trade war.
I think it's a counterproductive thing to do. You know, look, one of the things you've heard me say before that we have an unusual situation in America. We're surrounded by the Pacific Ocean, the Atlantic Ocean, and 2 allies, Mexico and Canada. And the last thing we need to do is begin to screw up those relationships. But I think it's a...
Yeah. Listen, folks. I told you, I said, when I used to go, I'd replace the oil in my car. You got to put the right oil in. You start putting milk in your oil thing, car's not going to run. You can't put diesel in a milk jug. You can't. Listen, why are you laughing, Jaden? Listen, I'm saying something wise. You can't put yogurt in a milk jug. Yeah, no, he was right. He was right, and Trump didn't listen. He should have. Here is Trump's agriculture secretary. Very different too now that they're in power versus when the campaign was going on.
And his tools in that tool basket of how to truly bring our economy back after the malaise of the Biden years. But it's going to be a little...
the historic recovery that outpaced every other country. Yeah, whatever.
The Biden years, but it's going to be a little bit bumpy. It will be imperfect. I mean, if it was easy and you could do it overnight, then it would happen with a snap of a fingers, but that's not it. And I think what's really telling is the president is so focused on not the short term, which, as we all know, in politics, everyone's always worried about the short term. He truly wants to fix America so that we have the American dream for everyone in a way that we lost in the...
I'm Brooke Rollins. The reason that you should elect Donald J. Trump is because on day one, he will start making your life better. Narrator says, day one. Hi, I'm Brooke Rollins. Stop worrying about day one. Trust me, one day, eventually, Trump will benefit your life, but in the short term, it's gonna suck. So stop being so petty and caring about him being held to the standard that he said and the promises that he made. So strange. All of them were saying it's gonna be so quick. It's gonna be instant. And instead, by the way, this whole it'll be good in the long term, no. What he's facilitating, actually what I'm concerned about is we're gonna long for now, meaning the next few months will be bad. But as countries respond to us, isolate from us, and our prosperity is undermined because of that, the long term will be hindered even more than the short term pain we're going to feel. And that's what's even scarier. Share your thoughts in the comments.